Alright, guys, welcome back. I want to start off by saying thank you for 25 or more subscribers. It really does mean a lot. I have put so much time and work into this that it it's paying off. 25 people thought I was important enough to subscribe. So I greatly appreciate it. Now, today we're going to be telling a story about when I snuck out of my house senior year of high school and went to a party that I had no business being there. All right. Now, let me premise this by saying I do not suggest ever doing this. Do not sneak out without your parents' permission and or go to a house party that would most likely lead to bad things. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get on into this. It was senior year of high school. I was about 17 and it was about 11:30 at night and I get a text message from one of my friends saying, "Hey, let's let's go to this party. It's across town. Let's let's go hang out for a little bit. Let's go party it up." And I didn't have anything going on. It was a Friday night. So I said, "Yeah, screw it. Let's go." So now, let me premise this by saying I didn't have to really sneak out of my house. My room was in the basement, and I had a door that led to the outside. So I could just come and go at any time of the day as I wanted. And at about 12 o'clock at night, I knew my dad was asleep. So I left. I went out the door. My friend came and picked me up down the road. I walked a little bit down the road, and he picked me up. So on the way there, I asked him, I said, "Hey, how many people are going to be here?" He says, "Oh, it's only going to be like maybe 20 people. That's about it, just a bunch of our friends." And I said, "Okay, cool. Cool. That's not a lot of people. Shouldn't turn out too bad and everything." So we get to the house and now there was way more than 20 people there. The whole road was just filled with cars. There was maybe 30 cars there. And I could see coming down the road on like the front yard, there was 20 people out there alone. And I'm like, "Oh, great." So we pull up, we find a place to park and everything. We're walking in. I'm saying hi to everybody that I knew and everything. And we get in there, and there's probably double the amount of people on the inside of this house that there was on the outside. So there was about 20 people outside. There's 40 people, if not more, in this house. And I didn't know pretty much any of them. So I'm sticking with my buddy and everything. We're going around, we're talking to new people and everything. And I see my other buddy that threw the party. So I go up to him. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, we're talking it up and everything. And then I asked him, I said, "I thought there was only going to be 20 people here." He said, "Yeah, that's what I thought too." I said, "Dude, there's like 100 people here." He's like, "Yeah, I know. I don't know where all these people came from. Like, half of these people don't even go to our school." And I'm like, "Okay." So we pretty much we get done talking there. We talk for maybe 10 minutes. And I'm walking around, I'm talking to people, and everybody that's there, they're all drinking. And I'm like, I really don't feel like drinking. It's a Thursday night. We have school tomorrow. So I'm just standing there. I'm playing on my phone and everything. I didn't really want to be there in the first place. And there's so many people there that I just felt uncomfortable being there. So I find my other buddy. He's standing there talking to people. And I tell him, I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." And he says, "What? Why?" I said, "Because, dude, we got school in the morning." He's like, "I know." And I said, "I'm not trying to ditch school. I've already done that too much. I'm not trying to do it again." And he's like, "Stop being so good. Just go get a drink, have some fun. We'll leave in a couple hours." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's fine." So I go and find where the drinks are. I get a drink and everything, and I'm standing there talking, listening to the music and everything. Well, one drink eventually turned into about six drinks. Now, I'm not big on alcohol. I don't suggest doing it if you're underage. Do not do what I did. But if you are, you know what? Screw that. No, just don't even do it. It's not worth it at all. So about six drinks in, I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm like, okay, like if I go to bed now, it's I'm gonna wake up for school, and I'm not gonna be too hungover. Well, I get to talking with a bunch of people, and I'm I pretty much said screw it and just grabbed another drink. Well, that one drink turned into about three more. So I'm about nine drinks in, and I'm pretty fucked up. Like there was no doubt about I was trashed. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna get home because my other buddy's drinking. I don't know how I'm gonna get home. I don't know how I'm gonna do any of that. So I'm still standing there talking and everything. And later on, say about 30, 45 minutes, like pass. And I'm like, okay, I need some fresh air. So I go out in the backyard and I'm standing there and I hear yelling. And I'm like, who the hell is yelling? Why is there people yelling? Well, apparently there was these two guys that didn't even go to our school that both showed up. And I guess a couple days prior, they got into a huge argument from what I learned a couple days later talking to my buddy that threw the party. They were having a huge disagreement. And I guess they saw each other at the party and decided, hey, that was the perfect time to continue the argument. Well, they they're arguing and everything. I'm like, okay, that's not my business. I really don't want to deal with that and everything. So I'm just playing on my phone, getting fresh air, and then I hear a bunch of more yelling, and I'm like, oh my god! I look over and they're throwing hands, like they are full on fighting, and I don't know what led to it. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to just start throwing hands in the backyard of this dude's house at a party. Now, granted, it was a party, and everything that shit happens and everything, but at the same time it's like, why why do you gotta fight at a party? You're there to have fun, not stand in the backyard throwing blows and everything. And I said, all right, screw it, I'm done. So I walked back in the house. I got me maybe like two more drinks, and at this point I guess the fight got broken up. My buddy went outside and broke it up, him and like a group of people. So them two went home, thank god, because I really did not want to deal with that anymore. So I'm in there, I'm having a good time, I'm jamming out to the music and everything. And I didn't I was already drunk. So I didn't really realize that I grabbed a couple more drinks. So I'm absolutely hammered. I can't even walk at this point. So I thought it would be another good idea, like the fresh air helped the first time, to go out and get more fresh air. Well, when I stepped outside, that cool breeze hit me in the face and I started spinning. Well, when I started spinning, I took a couple steps forward to try to grab on a chair that was there to brace myself. Well, I missed the chair and I plummeted. I hit the ground at that point, and I was just laying on the ground. And I was like, I'm just gonna lay here. I'm not even gonna deal with it. I'm gonna lay here until I get my balance back, and then I don't know. I'm either gonna walk home or I'm gonna have to call my older brother and pray to God that he's awake at this time. It's like 3:30 in the morning, and just pray to God that he's awake because he's the only person that is not gonna scream at me for this. Well, I'm sitting there, and I call him, he don't answer and everything. I'm like, great, I'm gonna have to walk home. Well, I thought it would be a better idea to just go ask my buddy, like, hey, can I stay here or not? And he's like, yeah, I don't see why not. Like, dude, you're hammered. And I said, yeah. And so is our other buddy that brought me here. He's drunker than a skunk, just doing his own thing. So I asked him like, hey, where can I go sleep? And I went, he's like, hey, you can go upstairs, go to my room. I'll sleep in the guest bedroom once everything calms down. So I made my way upstairs and I mean, I've been to his house before. I knew where his bedroom was, whether I was hammered or not. So I find his room and I lay down, and about maybe an hour goes by and I'm asleep. I end up falling asleep. And next thing I know, I get woken up to like it sounded like a herd of elephants running through this house. And I don't know what startled that herd and everything, but it sounded like people were gonna go through the floor. So I'm like, okay, this really ain't my problem. And then like I hear people running up the stairs, and they're like kind of whispering because his bedroom was at the top of the stairs. So if you come up the stairs and there's people right there, you can kind of hear him because he has kind of a smaller bedroom. So I'm hearing this and I can't really make out what it is. So I go to the door and open it and I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, the freaking cops showed up. I said, huh? They're like, yeah, the cops showed up. We're hiding up here. I was like, okay, great. All right, come in the room. We can chill in here and just pray to God these cops leave. Well, what I didn't know is that the neighbors ended up calling my friend's parents because they got woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to a bunch of drunk kids partying it up in this house. So they ended up calling my neighbor's parents, and my parents' neighbor, not my parents' neighbor, sorry, my friend's parents ended up calling the cops on their own kid. So that's why the cops showed up. And apparently, they came just barging into the house, screaming at everybody to get out of the house. You guys don't belong here. The parents don't know you're here. So anybody that stays gets arrested for, underage drinking. And I'm like, great. So we're all sitting up there in the bedroom and everything. And like I hear just all these people running out the house and everything. And we're up there for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And the apparently I was talking to my buddy later. Apparently the cops said, "Hey, we're gonna search the house, make sure there's nobody else here." My buddy tells him, yeah, go ahead at this point. My parents already ruined the party and everything. There's no point in y'all not being able to look around the house. I'm pretty sure everybody's gone. There's maybe one or two cars out there that don't belong here and everything. So they're searching the house. They search the bottom floor and everything. And then they start making their way upstairs. Now, I didn't know that they said they were going to arrest people that were still here for trespassing. So I'm sitting up there in the bedroom and I hear like these loud footsteps coming up the stairs. And they get to the top of the stairs and I tell everybody that's in the room like, "Hey, be quiet. Don't make a noise. Just be quiet. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's my friend coming up here to check on, like, because he knows I'm up here to check on me and make sure I'm good." Well, the door swings open and there is a police officer standing in the doorway. And he just goes, "Who the hell are you guys?" And I look at him like, "What? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "We got a call about a massive party and like extremely loud music and underage drinking." And I'm like, whoa, whoa, hang on, hang on, hang on. I'm allowed to be here. Like my buddy knows I'm here. I was staying the night. Oh, I completely lied to the cop. And he's like, okay, now what about these two other people? And they're like, oh, we're allowed to be here. He knows that we're here. Blah 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 blah. And the cop's like, okay, you three come with me. So he takes us downstairs. We're standing there. He asks my buddy. He's like, are they allowed to be here? Now I look at my buddy and I gave him that look like just say yes. Just say yes before we get in trouble. Now we're all standing there and the cop goes, "Okay, you know, he pretty much knows you because my buddy told him he's like, "Yeah, I know him. He's allowed to be here." And I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God. I'm not going to get thrown into handcuffs and either get taken home or taken to juvie." Because I really did not want to go to juvie or my house because my dad was ruthless. I would have probably got worse punishment at my house than I got at juvie. But he looks at the two other people and says, "No, they aren't supposed to be here." And like I look at him and I go, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "What? They're not supposed to be here." I said, "Dude, you already know what this fucking cop's gonna do. He already told us." And the cop goes, "They're not supposed to be here?" And he goes, "Nope." So he grabs both of the kids, throws them in handcuffs, and says, "All right, y'all are coming with us." And I look at the cop. I'm like, "Please, do not arrest them. They they didn't do anything wrong. Granted, they were here when they weren't supposed to. They didn't do anything wrong. And these two other kids are just preaching to him. Please don't arrest us. Like we were just here having fun. We weren't harming anything. We weren't even the ones being loud and everything." And the cop goes, "How old are you guys?" And they go, "We're 16." And he goes, "Ugh, I'm really not trying to ruin two kids' life for underage drinking at a house party." So he tells them, "Take out your phones, call your parents." And then they start preaching to him even more. "Please don't, no, no, we don't want to call our parents. We don't want to call our parents." And the cop goes, "Why not?" And they go, "Because our parents are gonna punish us more than what you could do." He's like, "Okay, so what? Call them. Call them or you're going to jail." So they ended up calling their parents. Both of their parents woke up and everything. And the cop takes the phone one by one and tells them, "Hey, your kids were at a house party. Your kids are absolutely hammered. Either y'all come get them or I'm taking them to jail." And apparently, both of the parents said, "Okay, we'll come get them." Because 5 minutes later, both of the parents came screaming down the road and pulled up in front of the house. I have never seen two kids more scared in my life than when their parents showed up. And when their parents showed up, they came in like a bat out of hell, just screaming, cussing, and everything at their kids. And they finally grabbed them and said, "Y'all are grounded for the rest of the school year." Now, granted, it was maybe October when this all went down. They're like, "You're grounded for the rest of the school year. You're not doing anything. You're not going to play any of the sport," because apparently they were like school athletes. "You're not going to play any sports or nothing. And when we get home, you're giving me everything." So the they took them home and everything. And the cops looked at my buddy and gave him the biggest ass chewing I've ever heard. Don't don't ever have a house party without your parents knowing. Like you don't realize how much trouble you could have been in and everything. If it wasn't for us, y'all would be in jail right now. All of you guys. And my buddy's like, "Yeah, I understand." But he just apologized the whole time. So the cops are like, "Okay, I'm gonna call your parents and I'm gonna tell your parents we got everything handled. All the kids are home. There's nobody else here." So he does that and everything. And after they get off the phone, my buddy's phone is blowing up, just blowing up from his parents. And he's like, "I'm not answering." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're not answering?" He's like, "I'm not answering." Like they come home tomorrow. I'm not answering the phone. I'll deal with it then. I said, great. So where am I going? He's like, dude, you can just stay here. I'm like, my dad don't even know I'm here. He's like, then call your dad. I said, fuck no, I'm not calling my dad. So I went back upstairs in his room and I told him, I said, we can wake up early tomorrow before your parents get here and clean the house. He's like, okay, deal. So I went up to his bedroom. He went to the guest room and we fall asleep. Well, about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning comes and my phone starts blowing up. And guess who it is? It's my dad. And I answer it and I'm like, yes, father. He's like, where the fuck are you? I said, at my buddy's house. He said, what the fuck do you mean you're at your buddy's house? I said, I went to his house last night and I have never been yelled at louder in my life than when I told my dad that. And my dad tells me, I'm coming to get you. I said, no, no, no. I gotta help him clean the house. And he's like, what do you mean clean the house? I didn't tell him I was at a house party. And I realized it. And I'm like, I just have to help him clean his house. And he's like, I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna give you an hour. Help him clean his house. And when I come pick you up, then we can discuss it. I'm like, okay, great. So I go wake him up. I'm like, hey, my dad called me. My dad's coming to get me in an hour. If you want help cleaning this house, we need to start now. So he got up and we start cleaning the house. We're throwing everything away. We're cleaning for an hour and my dad shows up. When my dad comes and knocks on the door and I answer it, and I didn't even get a word out, he grabbed me and started dragging me to the car. And I look back at my buddy and my buddy is like shell shocked. And we get in the car and my dad's like, what the fuck were you doing? Like over here. You didn't tell me you were leaving. You didn't tell me anything. I said, well, my buddy called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to this house party. Do you want to go?" And I told him, "Yeah." Oh my God, I've never heard my dad yell that loud in his life. He is screaming at me from the time we left to that house to the time we got back. And when we got back home, he looks at me and says, "I want your computer. I want your game system. I want the only thing you're gonna have in your room is your bed and your bed sheet. And that's it." And sure as shit, that's what he did. He took everything from me. So that's that's pretty much the story of me getting absolutely grounded from going to a house party that I had no business being at in the first place. And I was pretty much grounded for over a month. I didn't have anything for over a month. I couldn't go nowhere. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have nothing for a month until he finally gave it back to me about a month later. So let's leave it off here. I don't suggest going to a house party at 12 o'clock at night without your parents' permission, and I highly don't suggest underage drinking when you're not old enough to be 21. So, if you guys like the story, please give it a like. There's plenty more to come of me just doing dumb shit and either getting caught or getting away with it. 9 times out of 10, I got caught. So, if you guys like the story, please give it a like and a subscribe. And there will be another story out Friday. All the stories are going to come out Friday from here on out, unless you guys really start liking the stories, then I might post one every once in a while throughout the week or on the weekend. So, have a good one, guys. Peace.